What's going on, my North County fam? It's your girl Kelly, and I'm here to give you the rundown on what happened in St. Louis County government last week, and here's what you need to know. So first, the ARPA Work Group, they are moving right along with their process and providing their recommendations. So if you recall, at the last ARPA Work Group meeting, which was a couple of weeks ago, the group decided that they would reach out to individual council members if they had any questions about their ARPA spending request. And this is because the work group members, they're assessing each of these individual ARPA, requests, and they need all the details. They need all the information to make these objective assessments. So during last Tuesday's meeting, there were 5 spending proposals that were brought to the ARPA Work Group for clarification and a little bit more discussion. So the first ARPA spending proposal was Bill 110, which is Councilwoman Webb's bill requesting $5 million to address food insecurity in her district, which is District 4. Now, during the meeting, Councilwoman Webb, she did provide some more specifics as far as how she would utilize that $5 million to address food insecurity in her district, and there is more information that she provided that wasn't included in her original bill. So these are the specifics that she gave during the meeting as far as how she would use the funding to address this issue in her district.
So the appropriation will address not just a specific solution. So it won't just all be about getting a new grocery store. So we want to have a holistic plan. So we want to support programs, and that holistic plan would include supporting programs that are designed for address food insecurities in District 4. So for non-for-profits and other programming that may be out there, we will be let me go back. So the first bullet is just supporting programs designed to address food insecurities in the district itself. And so these programs could be existing grassroots programs that we can support. In addition to grassroots programs that's out there, there's also, I'm asking for support for local farmers and for non-for-profit organizations that's throughout the district, providing some type of grant program that would help with food distribution throughout the district. And then lastly, I have listed here, we need an actual campaign to attract grocery stores that provide healthy food options in District 4. So this food insecurity ARPA request of I think it's about $5 million is to address all of those different alternative solutions. It's not a one and done.
So what was the feedback from that? So Councilwoman Clancy lifted up making sure that smaller nonprofits have the support and the capacity that's needed to apply for the funding, manage these grant dollars, and also execute programming. Utilizing, again, ARPA funding is federal coin, and as I say a lot, when you're dealing with feds coins, you have to dot your I's and cross your T's, and if you don't do that, then you got to run them their coins back, and ain't nobody got it like that to run back any coins. So that is something important to note. Now, something else I do want to lift up is that there is another bill out there, and this is Chairwoman Days' bill requesting $2 million to address food insecurity in her district, which is the 1st district. Councilwoman Clancy, she had some questions regarding that bill, and Councilwoman Webb said, hey, I'll be sure to follow up with Chairwoman Days to see if she's available to come to our next meeting next week to answer any of those questions that Councilwoman Clancy had. So to be continued with that bill. The second ARPA spending proposal discussed by the group, Bill 111, Councilwoman Webb's bill requesting $11 million to address problem properties through demolition, not just in her district, y'all, but throughout all of unincorporated St. Louis County. Now, I got to keep it a buck with y'all because there's been some back and forth regarding this bill between Councilwoman Webb and Councilman Tracus. So both council people, they pretty much represent damn near all of unincorporated St. Louis County, and there are a number of vacant, derelict, abandoned properties in both of their districts. And And so they've been working together to really come up with a plan to address these issues throughout all of unincorporated St. Louis County. And they done established, apparently there's a task force. So it's them working with one another as well as several different departments in St. Louis County, again, to come up with a plan on how to deal with these vacant, derelict, abandoned properties. And during these meetings, apparently they've been meeting for the past 2 years. So during these meetings, apparently the departments came up with an estimate as far as how much it will cost to demolish these buildings in all of unincorporated St. Louis County, and that estimate is between $11 to $15 million. Councilwoman Webb, again, she's got this legislation requesting $11 million in ARPA funding to do just that. And, you know, she's looking at Councilman Tracus like, hey, bro, like, you want to co-sponsor this bill with me? And he was like, nah, I'm good. And so he's developed his own plan, South County Strong plan. And in this plan, he's requesting ARPA funding, which also includes $15 million to address problem properties in his district, the 6th district, y'all. So will both of them be able to come together to work to address this problem? I don't know. But what I do know is that Councilman Tracus will be in the building next week during the ARPA Work Group's next meeting to discuss his South County Strong plan. And I am sure that this issue will be brought up then. So more to come, y'all. More to come. So the next spending proposal that the work group discussed, Bill 213. This is sponsored by Councilwoman Webb, and this bill, if passed, it would buy the building that housed the former Trinity Catholic High School, and in that building, PAL programming would take place in there, along with other services and supports to really assist and uplift North County residents. So what was the feedback with this spending proposal? Councilwoman Clancy, she wants a letter of support from PAL's board before seriously considering this proposal, and this is because she wants to make sure that there's no going around processes, especially when you're dealing with a nonprofit organization. The fourth spending proposal discussed by the ARPA Work Group is a request from Councilwoman Webb of $2.5 million in ARPA funding to provide to small businesses in District 4 who were some of the hardest hit due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, check out Councilwoman Webb's rationale for this spending request for her district.
I'm going to move on to the next item, and it's small business relief. And this is small business relief specifically for District 4. And so there was an opportunity when there was CARES funding to get financial recovery from businesses who had lost revenue or who were possibly displaced because of COVID. And now I'm coming back to ask for additional funding, and I can give you my feedback and my rationale behind this. So of all the districts, District 4 did receive the least amount of recovery. It had not just the least amount, it had more people apply, but it received the least amount in funds. Not only that, and I even hate to have to talk about this, but I have been getting contact, or I was at another town hall and this came up, where small businesses in District 4 did not get its fair share, and it could be due to different reasons. But we all have learned about the misconduct out of the previous leadership from this office. And I cannot assure members of the community and small business owners if the reason they were not considered is because of that pay for play activity, alleged play for pay activity. And so even with that, looking at the numbers itself for small business, for small businesses, I do believe we have a case that would justify supporting more of the small businesses in District 4.
So I'm sure it's going to be more conversation concerning this, y'all. I have a feeling about that. And the last spending proposal that was brought up by the ARPA Work Group Councilwoman Webb's request of $500,000 to provide resources to local nonprofits that assist those dealing with domestic violence. Now, there wasn't too much to talk about because, it's real. COVID-19 exacerbated domestic violence, abuse in the area. And so, there is a real need in North County to support those dealing with this serious issue. So, not too much to discuss there. So what's next? So as I mentioned, the ARPA Work Group, they will have a meeting next week to follow up with some of those council members and their specific ARPA spending requests to get their questions answered. So to be continued. The next thing you need to know as far as what happened in St. Louis County government last week, Councilwoman Clancy responds to efforts investigating her potential conflict of interest. So I talked about this during a previous rundown, maybe a couple of weeks ago, that the ethics committee, they are investigating to determine if she violated any laws and engaged in a potential conflict of interest regarding her work with a law firm that worked with medical marijuana facilities in some capacity. And while she was working in that space, she voted as a councilwoman on legislation relating to licensing of medical marijuana facilities in St. Louis County. So listen to what Councilwoman Clancy had to say as far as this investigation.
I would like to address this matter. I've always welcomed a review. I'm confident that I followed all appropriate ethical and legal rules and disclosures, voting, and transparency related to this issue. I'm happy to have an open conversation about ethics and conflicts of interest involving the entire county council, including those who are scrutinizing my work. The facts of this matter are clear. I have no financial interest in the medical marijuana industry. My work was for a law firm only, and I was paid by the firm. I had no interactions whatsoever with anyone from the medical marijuana industry. The work I did was irrelevant to the position I took 2 years ago and remains the same today. I was not involved with the awarding of licenses for any work I've performed or as a member of the council. It's transparent to me that this matter is driven not by authentic concern over my actions, but simply by personal and political motives disguised as an ethics review. I know county residents are tired of false political attacks, and they're ready for us to move forward together for the benefit of the entire community. My primary focus is always, and has always been, and will continue to be, what's best for the people of my district and what's best for the people of St. Louis County. This issue is 3 years old, and the fact that it is just now being discussed supports the political nature of this review. Thank you.
That's all I have for y'all this week. Please stay safe out there, and you will see me soon. Peace.